Most people think insomnia is the problem, but insomnia is actually the signal, the wake up call that your mind and body is saying, hey, something needs your attention, something is out of balance. Your body didn't forget how to sleep. Your brain is simply trying to protect you from something that it still believes is important. But when we treat insomnia itself as the problem, we fall into some very sneaky insomnia traps. There are 4 insomnia traps that pretty much everyone falls into, including myself. I had insomnia for 16 years, and these 4 traps kept me stuck in the cycle. And if you are caught in any of these 4 traps, sleep will feel impossible. Not because you can't sleep, but because your brain thinks that it shouldn't sleep yet. But once you break out of these traps, that is when sleep just becomes normal again. It is easy, effortless, natural. It becomes a non-issue exactly like it used to be. So if nothing has worked for you yet, it is not because you're broken. It's actually because you've just been trying to fix the wrong thing. So this video right here is your foundation. And after this, everything about sleep will finally start to make sense. Trouble sleeping isn't a failure. It's actually your nervous system tapping you on the shoulder and saying something in your inner world or your outer world needs to shift. And once we understand what that is, sleep just comes back all on its own. So let's break this down. Trap number 1 is treating insomnia as the problem. This is the first mistake that you fall into when you have trouble sleeping. So insomnia down here is not the problem. It is the symptom. It is the result of what's actually happening up here. The stress, the overthinking, the emotional overload, trauma. And these are old survival patterns that your brain learned at some point in your life, to the point where your brain is now entrained in this loop of hyper-awareness. So when your mind is operating in this survival mode, your body does the most logical thing it can do, which is it keeps you awake, because sleep requires complete safety, physically and emotionally. So insomnia is not your body failing you. It's actually your body protecting you. Your brain is not keeping you awake because something is actually wrong with you. It's just that your brain is keeping you awake because it believes that staying awake is safer than falling asleep. Not consciously, but on a subconscious level, subconsciously. So this is why insomnia feels so confusing, because during the day, you know that you want to sleep, but then at night, your nervous system, your sympathetic nervous system, which is the stress response, the fight or flight response, your sympathetic nervous system is activating and it's saying, not yet, I still think we need to be alert for something. So if you see what's happening here, insomnia is not a sleep problem. It's a state of the nervous system. It is a symptom of the sympathetic nervous system being activated. And that is actually really good news, because nervous system states are retrainable. They are trainable. Your body learned to go into the sympathetic state because of past experiences. We're going to get into this way deeper in a second. But you can train it to go into the rest and digest state, which is when you fall asleep, which is the parasympathetic state, okay? So these nervous system states are retrainable. Your brain learned to stay awake, and so your brain can also learn how to sleep again, how to sleep easily again. So you're not broken, your body's not malfunctioning, your brain is just genuinely trying to help you. It just misunderstands what you need because it's living off of what it learned in the past. So we got to bring it up to the present moment. And in this video, I'm going to help you correct that understanding. So your body wants to sleep, your brain remembers how to sleep. We're just going to show it that it's actually safe to do so again. So are you ready for trap number 2? Okay, insomnia trap number 2 is chasing quick fixes. Okay, so here is my attempt at drawing a pill bottle. And it says false hope if it's too small for you to read. But these quick fixes, they include things like sleeping pills, melatonin, magnesium, CBD, sleep gummies, sleep beverages, sleepy time teas, supplements, any sleep aid that you would put in your mouth, essentially. So now I want to be really clear. There's nothing really wrong with trying those things. Pretty much everybody goes through that phase. I have tried all of them as well because we just want to sleep. That's it. That's the goal. But here's what actually ends up happening. And I want you to let me know maybe in the comments if this is true in your experience. But the sleeping pills and the sleep aids, the quick fixes, they might work for a little while, but then they stop working. And there's actually a really powerful reason for that, which is because your brain is more powerful than a pill. So if your brain still interprets being asleep as unsafe, then no matter what you take, your nervous system will essentially override that and it will keep you awake because your nervous system is staying alert on purpose and your brain is more powerful than a pill, like I said. And then the second thing that often happens is they might work in parentheses, but even if something does knock you out, you don't wake up feeling well rested. Instead, you wake up groggy with brain fog, sluggish, the sleeping pill hangover effect, almost like you were sedated because you were sedated. Or there's, other unwanted side effects, long-term or short-term. And you don't wake up feeling refreshed in the morning because it's actually the deeper sleep that makes you feel good. And that deep sleep only happens when the brain feels safe enough to fully let go and fall asleep. So there's really just two outcomes when chasing these quick fixes, which is either they don't work because your brain overrides them, or they work, but you don't wake up feeling like you slept well. It feels like you just checked out for a bit. And neither one of those are good solutions, in my opinion, because none of these address the root cause. So instead, to fix this for good, you have to retrain your brain to actually feel safe letting go and surrendering in the present moment. So the only lasting fix is retraining the nervous system to recognize that it's actually safe to fully fall into a deep sleep. So if your goal is to sleep naturally and consistently, we have to go way deeper than these quick fixes. And the way that we address this on a deeper level is actually how we get out of trap number 3, which is trap 3 is autopilot survival mode. Autopilot. Okay. So insomnia didn't start randomly. It is the symptom, like we talked about in the first trap. So insomnia most likely began due to some life trigger. Something stressful, traumatic. I have other videos where I kind of go into this a little bit deeper. But it usually begins at a time when your nervous system thought that it's safer to actually stay alert than it is to relax. So right now, maybe think back to a moment when your sleep first started changing. What was happening at your life in that time? Stress, a breakup, a big life transition, grief, a health scare, career turmoil, feeling like you had to hold everything together, whatever it was, your brain wasn't wrong in that moment. It was protecting you in that moment because the nervous system's number one job is survival, not comfort. So your brain learned that being alert is safe and being asleep is vulnerable. And once the brain learns a survival response, it keeps running that program automatically and it becomes a habit. So that's why I call it autopilot survival mode, because it turns into an automatic habit that will just keep repeating unless you know how to intentionally retrain that habit. So here's the part that most people never really learn. The brain is going to continue running that old pattern even after your life has changed, even though there's no more trigger, unless you consciously update your brain's programming. And if you don't intentionally start interrupting this automatic autopilot program, it's just going to keep going and going and going. And what they don't teach us in school is that you have the power to command your brain. This is what I have become an expert in. I have changed my life doing this, reprogramming my subconscious instead of letting these old patterns from past trauma run my life. So this is how I shifted out of being super anxious, high-strung, overthinking everything, to now living with a regulated nervous system as my baseline state. So today I'm able to live my life so much more in the present moment. My mind doesn't go in a zillion directions by default anymore because that was the survival mind doing that. And because now I've retrained my subconscious to be okay existing in the present moment, I don't go to all those hypothetical doomsday scenarios, which usually don't end up happening anyways. Because here's the truth. Insomnia isn't really about nighttime. It's actually a reflection of how you're moving through your life, even in the day, which a lot of the times for most of us is fast, urgent, on autopilot, in survival mode, over things that aren't real life or death threats. So I want you to just take a look at your life with honesty and self-compassion, but I want you to ask yourself, where in your life are you self-sacrificing? Where in your life are you tolerating situations that drain your peace? That's my number one right now. I need to keep my peace no matter what. So what in your life is toxic? People, jobs, environments, and where are you neglecting your own desires, your own passions, your own interests in life? Are you pursuing them, or are you just putting them on your to-do list? Because your nervous system is responding to your life. So it's time to take your power back and realize that you can actually command your mind to allow you to flow through life in a much calmer and peaceful experience. So you start putting your energy towards protecting your peace, and that is going to accelerate the improvement in your sleep. So if you're realizing right now that you have been living in autopilot survival mode, that is exactly what I can help you shift. And I actually have a free masterclass where I walk you through the 3-step method that my clients use to reprogram their nervous system back into safety and break out of that insomnia habit loop very quickly. So that link is in the description. So now for insomnia trap number 4. Trap number 4 is the identity trap. This is the one that almost nobody realizes that they're doing or that they're trapped in, because it is super sneaky. This will keep you stuck forever. So good thing you're watching this video. So if you've been struggling with your sleep for a while, you might have started thinking or saying things like, I can't sleep. I have insomnia. And on top of that, not only is that your own internal dialogue, your internal self-talk, but you also start telling other people. You start reinforcing that identity by telling other people about it. And then they start asking you questions about your sleep every time that they see you or talk to you. And that keeps reinforcing the insomnia loop. So the way that you think about yourself and the way that you talk about yourself to other people is literally training your brain. Because the subconscious mind is always listening, and your brain will always act in alignment with the identity that it believes is true. So if part of you believes, I am an insomniac, then your brain will continue to operate using the autopilot patterns that lead to more difficulty sleeping. So let me show you the loop. Okay, here we've got the loop. So the loop is you have a bad night. Then you start to worry about your sleep. So then you try even harder to try to fix your sleep. But then that frustration that nothing is working, or it's twofold. It's trying harder doesn't work. So it's frustrating, and even trying all the quick fixes don't work. So that's frustrating. So that frustration activates the fight or flight response, which means you will not sleep if your fight or flight response is activated. So then you can't sleep again. And then you say to yourself something like, see, I still can't sleep, which is reinforcing that identity. So that the loop continues, and you have another bad night, and it just keeps going and going and going. And it's not because your sleep is broken, but it's because you have this identity of someone who continues to struggle to sleep, and this identity keeps getting reaffirmed. So here's the truth. You are not an insomniac. You are a person who has been stuck in a survival response sleep pattern. Your identity is not, I can't sleep. Your true identity is, my body knows how to sleep when I can relax into the present moment. So the truth is, my body already knows what to do, and I don't have to start thinking about it, overthinking it, trying so hard to fix it. The moment that this clicks for you, the moment that your true identity is, oh wait, I just got to get out of my own way, that is when your nervous system relaxes and things start to shift. So you're not trying to become a good sleeper. You're actually returning to be the good sleeper that you were before life got overwhelming and before you started reinforcing this identity. So this is more of a remembering. It's not really a fixing, it's a remembering. And I want you to anchor this in. So actually, let's do something. So go ahead and place your hand on your chest for a second. And I want you to ask yourself, Who am I when I am well rested, calm, and when I just feel safe to be my authentic self? What is one word that describes that version of you? I don't know, peaceful, steady, clear, grounded, free. That's my favorite one. Free. I just want to feel free, light, confident, radiant, unbothered. I love that one too. It's like unbothered, like nothing can get to you no matter what. What is that word that you feel when you just wake up well rested, things are going good, you're on top of it, you're your true self, everything is flowing? Comment that one word below. That word becomes your anchor as you shift out of the insomnia identity. So congratulations, you have just graduated from Insomnia 101. I just put the 4 traps up here as a reminder. And now your job is to simply keep reinforcing this new understanding. And I have 2 great resources for you to help you do that. So the first one is to make sure you watch the free masterclass that I mentioned earlier. That link is in the description. And this video right here is a great one to watch next. This is where we dive into the exact mindset shift that ended my 16-year journey with insomnia. And it's kept me sleeping great for over 7 years now without any medication or supplements.